For those who might be unaware, Danny, who is more commonly known as Lord Bung, made an animated show called Confinement, which was incredibly popular among the SCP community, and it garnered them over 1.7 million subscribers, with each episode getting millions of views, with many people eagerly waiting for the next episode, only to later find out that it would never release. Initially, Bung started out being more of a commentary channel and working on a series called Bung Chronicles. This featured a variety of YouTubers and covered a bunch of different topics, usually with some musical cameo and other more lighthearted material. At some point, they decided to reinvest their time into the Confinement series and purely shifted their focus onto it instead. I actually had various interactions with them fairly on into their time on the internet where they had created the character I use on my channel to this day. I made a random video with some of the characters they had made many years ago. After a while, they wanted to expand the project and dedicate more time to the series, so she opened up a Patreon to be able to make it more of a primary focus in their life and bring in extra help to do bits and pieces like drawings and backgrounds to potentially help move the project along. This all seemed to be going okay until a couple of days ago where she announced that they've stopped the Patreon and were going to delete all the content in the coming days. To be completely honest, other than this last comment, there's not been any actual post made regarding why they've left. It's mostly just been inferred, since it's probably relating to a few reasons which I'll get into. I honestly think the first and foremost reason for their departure is the mix between mental health reasons and a complete lack of motivation for the series. It's pretty clear in a lot of the update Patreon posts that they're taking on other projects and suffering quite a lot mentally, struggling to even work on the series altogether. Another element I personally believe played a big part was the recent kwite drama that occurred. To give context to this, kwite made a video responding to a Twitter user and a Confinement writer, Orion. They had alleged kwite had sexually assaulted them amongst a plethora of other things, and Lord Bung very bluntly let everyone know how they felt about the situation, and heavily vouched for Orion continuously. It should also be noted that they were both dating at the time, so it gives some important context as to why they were a lot less skeptical to everything, plus the fact that Orion is also shown to be incredibly manipulative as well. It's really hard to try and guess how they could have coped with the situation, given that they had been lied to by a long-term partner and friend who had betrayed them in such a way and used their platform to peddle blatant lies for their own gain. It's hard to really assign a ton of blame, even though they're both entirely in the wrong. It makes a lot of sense how they ended up here, as Orion would have been spinning this story to them for a very long time, probably over a couple of years. After kwite's response video to the situation, many YouTubers started covering the whole drama, and a lot of flack was thrown Bung's way for the comments they made on the situation for standing by Orion for quite a while after, and understandably so.
I'm sorry, do you have any fucking idea how rude that was?
A lot of different negative comments were made by them in response until eventually they posted this over on their Instagram story apologizing for what they've said, which reads, "I'm sorry for all the anger and frustration I've aided in causing. I'm still processing the information in kwite's video. I thought I was just helping my friend. Orion and I have been close for years, so this is a lot for me to digest. Once again, thank you for those who were patient with me." Bung was very clearly done with the situation, and I think the constant mentions of the situation to them finally got to them until they then posted the recent comment about how they've stopped the Patreon and are going to delete everything. Shortly after, someone then leaked part of episode 8 where it seems to just be a compilation of weird softcore porn, and the response to it all has been nothing but negative, which I can kind of see why.
Can we watch something else?
It's about to get really good. It's about to get really good. Trust me.
From an outside perspective, it seems like they've just gone and blown all the money on whatever, and only really have this random scene to show for it. Some of the lovely people on the Confinement Reddit were just speculating it was all spent on weed and drugs and whatever else. For the past year there were barely any posts, and even before that it was usually just random scene still images and the occasional 2-second clip if you were lucky. It was a bit sad to see just scrolling through all the posts. There were so many updates, all usually revolving around either tonsillitis, demotivation, or some other illness or them doing commissions instead of working on the show. It feels like any kind of major help would have made a big difference, and it would have been able to push the show forward so much further. Where you see it really all go downhill is in the streams. What used to be working on the show and behind the scenes progress turned into hours and hours of Bung and Orion just sitting on Discord, talking about nothing, and responding to random questions on the stream.
Have you ever done a sober stream, brother?
There's been quite a few videos and a lot of posts made, generally talking with the same kind of theme, and it's just endless mocking of the leaked scene because when you watch it, it kind of makes sense. It all just seems so out of place. There is a good stop-off point where this scene might have been alright, just as a little minute gag, but it drags on and only gets worse and worse. And in context to what the both of them are cooking up with the kwite situation, it just seems to be in such poor taste, and it's almost unimaginable to be this completely unself-aware. Taking a look over on all the SCP and Confinement forums on Reddit has been quite interesting to say the least. They've all been very vocal about how they feel about everything and the disappointment at how things ended. There's a lot of accusations and speculation about where the money has gone, what they think has happened, and what was done with it, etc. And this will probably go on for quite some time until either Bung gives any further insight or the community as a whole just kind of forgets about it as another creator who made the wrong choices and couldn't handle what came after. It's unfortunate to see that this is how everything went down at the end of the day. Confinement was something the community was always looking forward to, and to see it fall so far in such a short amount of time is sad to see. Given how much of the community it had behind it, there was clear interest for the stories stories he had to tell, whatever format they may have taken. There was a clear dedicated fan base to his work. That's all I wanted to say for this video. It's a shame things ended the way they did with Bung in the series, but that's just the way of the internet. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.